Hi, today I'm talking to Yvonne Harling, who is one of the people I co create with in my creator energy work. And she's an absolute powerhouse. She's just written her third book, How to Start, Run, and Grow a B&B Business that you and your guests love. And I strongly recommend that anybody in the B&B business or thinking of getting into the B&B business pick up a copy of this book. It's only $7 from her website. Go through it and then contact Yvonne for more insights about how she can help you create a six-figure B&B business effortlessly. I'm quite serious. It's a fantastic business concept, something that we've overlooked. And if you've got two, three, or four bedrooms that you could put to use, or you can rent a place with that kind of space, then you're onto something that can generate a lot of cash for you with almost no effort. So do look at this. I think it's a business model almost anybody can do. Thank you. I have the beautiful Yvonne Halling with me. She's from Shropshire, UK, and she's an old friend of mine, an expert in the B&B and many other businesses. And the purpose of the call today is to talk about her latest book. I think it's the third book she's written, which is on how to run your bed and breakfast profitably. Of course, there's much, much more to it, and she's going to tell us about it. And I bought the book myself. I've gone through it. I think it's like I feel like opening my own B&B already. So, hi Yvonne, welcome to the
Hello,
call.
Dhiren. Hello, Dhiren. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, how long have you been in the B&B business?
Well, I've been in the hospitality business, I think, for about 24 years. So I ran my own B&B in France for 17 years. And then I have been helping and assisting other owners around the world since 2013. First alongside my own B&B, and then from 2017 until now, I've been doing this full time.
And quite successfully, from what I understand. It's been a six-figure business.
Yes, it has. Yes, it's been very successful, and I've helped a lot of people double and sometimes triple their business.
So, to 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 cut to the chase, what's the one takeaway you'd expect a B&B owner to get from buying and reading your book?
I think the biggest takeaway that clients have told me is a shift in thinking about your business as a kind of toy or a thing that you pick up and put down into becoming what I would call a professional. And that involves a series of steps, first in your mind, which we help you with, but also in the way that you run it with the business model that you're running. So that probably sounds like a few things, but there are a lot of people in this industry who aren't really hospitality people. And I'm referring to what's happened with the Airbnb kind of takeover, if you like, where the promise is that you can rent out any room and you can, or anything that you've got, and you can not meet the guests. You don't have to do anything. You just sit and wait for the money to come in. And that's an idea that has been propagated by the Airbnb model. In fact, Airbnb actively discourages communication between the host and the guest, except on their platform, right? So there's strict criteria that you can meet. And that has led to an explosion of what I call tech businesses rather than hospitality businesses. If we're in the hospitality business, we need to be hospitable. And that means meeting people. And that means dealing with people. Whether you do keyless entry or whether you meet people in person, that doesn't matter, but you have to kind of let your guests know that you are there for them. And I think that has kind of disappeared a little bit from the hospitality space over the last few years. And so the one takeaway I would say from my book is that if you're going to be successful, if you're going to make this a successful business for yourself and your family with income that you can rely on, consistent income that you can rely on for the lifestyle that you want, you need to take it seriously.
Well, that's a very interesting distinction. I never thought of it as Airbnb versus BNB, and that's a completely huge Pandora's box.
Huge.
So, from what I understand, are you saying anybody can start a BNB business? You don't need to be in the hospitality business, so to speak.
That's the idea that has been bandied around by the likes of Airbnb, not just Airbnb, but all of the online travel agents advocate for this. Did you know, for example, according to research that I've done, that about 85% of properties listed on booking.com, which is another big online travel agent, do not have their own website? Now, that tells me all I need to know about the type of people who are offering accommodation.
So, what would the minimum requirements be if you wanted to start your own BNB? How many rooms do you need? Do you need an independent house? Do you need a website? What are the essentials?
There is no minimum number of rooms, and you don't need to have a separate house or your own house. It depends very much on what you as the owner want to get from it. You know, what is the purpose of you doing this? If it's just to earn an extra a few bucks, then you'd probably be better putting it on Airbnb and not bothering with your own website and not bothering to meet the guests, right? That is a very popular model. If you wanted to be what I call a professional, then I would suggest that the minimum number of rooms to make it viable as a decent income for yourself would be 4 rooms. Many of my clients have done it with 3, and some of them have done it with 2. But 4 seems to be the kind of threshold that you cross when you become a professional owner with an income that will support your lifestyle. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have, you have to have another property. You can do it in your own house. I did it in my own house, but you really do need to have, I would say, 4 rooms. I'm hesitating because you can do it with less. But if you do 4 rooms and they've all got their own bathroom, which is essential, and you have a private space in your house as well, that's essential. You cannot have any overlap between your private space in your house and the guests, except maybe the kitchen or lounge. But in order to be professional, you really need 4 distinct rooms with their own private bathrooms. And there are many ways that you can do that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And from what I understand by reading the book, you're an advocate of not using platforms. You're an advocate of going directly to the user. So how do you do that? And what kind of money do you make and save?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So it's not easy to go down the direct bookings route, but it's totally possible. So for anybody who's watching this who is on booking.com, they feel that they're running a professional business. These are the people that I can help the most. And the people who are fed up with Airbnb and booking.com and they want to get off those platforms, this is my speciality. I myself ran my own B&B in France with 4 rooms, and it was making over 100,000 euros a year without any of those platforms, without any of that. But there are some key things that you need to have in place. First, number 1, you have to be sure on the type of guests that you want to welcome. Now, this is different from listing on the platforms, because when you list on the platforms, you look like mostly everybody else and you become what we call a commodity in the meat market. It's all about price, that you can't really describe yourself very well, and you definitely can't niche yourself very well on the platforms. So you need your own website to do that. And then you need your own social media presence to communicate your niche. Who do I welcome? Who can I best serve? What is the unique experience that I'm going to deliver for those guests that they can't get anywhere else. That's your prime focus when you're turning professional. So you also need an online reservation system. And if you are linked to the platforms, if you are using them, and I just want to say here that, you know, they do have their place for sure. They do have their place, but they're not the answer. They're not the answer to everything. You have to have your own website with your own online reservation system that is hooked up to those platforms, so there's no double booking, right? That's a absolute essential. The next thing that you need to think about, so having got your ideal guests in mind, you set up your website in a way that attracts those guests and also repels the guests that you don't want to welcome. For example, if your unique experience is mainly for adults, then you don't want to welcome families, and you want to say that. You want to say that you're an adult only. If, on the other hand, your experience that you offer is ideal for families, then you need to say that and communicate that clearly, so there's no confusion in the mind of the guests. So you've got your ideal guest in mind, you've got your website, which is your online property. Your website is your online virtual property, and it needs as much care and attention as your physical property, because that's where people are going to see you first. Then, and this is the big thing, right, that most owners miss, you need to have a customer relationship management in place. Now, in all of my years of helping owners around the world, I have never met an owner who's got a CRM system in place for their B&B. And this is a total game changer for a professional owner. And here's why. There are 3 distinct types of guests in your world who know about you. There are those that have booked a room but have not arrived yet. There are those who have booked a room, stayed with you and left. And then out there on the internet, in internet land, there are potential guests. And you must communicate with those 3 types of guests specifically in order to build your own ecosystem, your own database. You can call it an email list, you can call it your community, you can call it a database. But if you're not operating that, if you're not building that ecosystem for yourself, you are very, very vulnerable to the vagaries of the market, to pricing and discounting and stuff like that. If you're listed on the OTAs, you cannot build that database because they don't want you to. And here's the kicker. The OTAs, the online travel agents like Booking.com and Airbnb and Expedia and all of the myriad of others that you can think of, they have your database. And when you stop and think about it, as an owner using those platforms, you have helped them build it, and you have paid for the privilege in the form of your commissions. And this, I think, is an absolute, it's like the best kept secret. You have paid for them to build an enormous database with millions and millions, gazillions of your guests. And
Amazing.
I know, and they are marketing to your guests. They're marketing flights, they're marketing car insurance, they're marketing car hire, they're marketing all sorts of products and services, and they're also marketing and selling to the B&B or the hospitality business down the road from you, right? And you have paid for that privilege. If you, I mean, it's absolutely shocking, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's brilliant business.
It's genius. It's genius, right?
So how can you help people, Yvonne? Because I know you have a program of mentorship and consulting beyond the book that's in your internet world, as you say, as you speak. So can you tell us briefly about that?
Yes. So there are several ways that we help people, not just in my mentoring program, although that is the best way to get the best of us and to get the best out of what we teach. We will teach you how to identify your ideal guest, how to set up your website to attract those guests, guests, how to set up your social media to attract those guests, how to communicate with those guests, how to set up your CRM system, and then how to add more revenue, more value to the guest experience so that you increase the amount they spend with you, not necessarily the occupancy rate. So it's about working smarter, not harder. It's about making more money with less work and having a great lifestyle into the bargain. And there are several ways we do that. Our flagship coaching and mentoring program is called the B&B Moneymaker Business Transformation Program, and that lasts for 12 months. Second to that, we have a specific program called Email Magic, which runs for about 12 weeks, where we will help you to set up your CRM system and one email campaign for your booked-in guests to add more value to their experience and more money to your bank account. That campaign alone, within your CRM system, that I developed for my own B&B, and I have taught this to many, many clients around the world, that one campaign alone can increase your revenue by as much as 25% in one season.
Wow.
And then if you're not ready to have direct coaching and mentoring from us, we also have a digital toolkit, which is essential for all owners. It's got 9 of our best strategies in there. You purchase it and you download it, and there are 9 different ways that you can make more money and work less. We also have our International Bed and Breakfast Owners Lounge, which is a membership. You pay monthly, you can cancel any time, and we do a monthly workshop based on what the members want to learn that particular month. So we have a stack of past workshops that you will have access to if you join. So those are just some of the ways that we help people.
Thank you, Yvonne. That's all we have time for today. But people, if you want to start a B&B business, or if you have one, I know Yvonne, she's straight as an arrow, knows the business inside out. She's been in it for 3 decades. And it's really worth picking up the book at the minimum. And if you're really serious about your business or want to build it to get to the profit you should, for example, cut out those 30% margins you pay to booking platforms, get in touch with her programs, because it's going to make you money for years and years and years to come. A business that is going to just keep being a cash cow. So there you have it. Thank you, Yvonne, once again, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.